revelation.
Yeah.
You know.
That's why I asked that question. I wasn't trying to divert.
Okay.
100%.
But you can describe, as you understand it,
I can, but I'd rather
Salafism.
save time, and I don't want to build an argument based on morality, which is predicated on Islam, and then you say, yeah, but I don't accept that morality.
No, I'm not. That's immaterial to me.
Yeah. Well, I've already answered
I'm more
that.
interested in terms of current events.
Yeah. There's good Salafis, there's bad Salafis.
ISIS, what they do with their actions against other Muslim governments,
ISIS,
Western governments.
Yeah, that's a good point, but it's a mistake. ISIS don't declare themselves to be Salafis. ISIS are Khawarij. That's a different sect. And majority of the Muslims are, of the opinion that they're not mainstream, the Khawarij. That's why their actions are not non-mainstream either. And that's why you see them attacking Muslims more than non-Muslims.
Yeah, I can understand that.
It's also the different
So
sects.
Khawarij, now that's a new term for me. I've never heard it before until today. And I'm familiar with Salafi and Wahhabi and...
That's because those terms
Shia.
tend to get used a lot in the media, yeah.
Yes, that's where I pick them up.
Yeah. So what's
Khawarij, what is Khawarij?
Well, Khawarij is you can see the embodiment of Khawarij in ISIS, in the ISIS creed, as you were, and that's why there is.
Does it come from
they're coming
Egypt?
at loggerheads.
Does roots come from Egypt or Saudi Arabia?
I don't know too much about Khawarij in terms of their roots, but I do know in terms of their beliefs, they're not mainstream. They don't claim to be mainstream, and neither are their acts mainstream either. They divert a lot from mainstream Islam.
Don't go away.
Sorry, I got ADD, so my attention's...
Oh, you got ADD?
Yeah, ADHD, but I focus a lot on...
It's good you told me, then obviously I'll bear that in mind.
No, yeah, I've debated Hamza before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Baha'i faith and
nice.
Islam.
How was that?
It was interesting.
Nice.
I definitely learned a lot, and I went away and studied a lot as well. Yeah, so humble and
That's awesome, bro.
and so on.
That's
but
awesome.
It's at the end of the day with the Baha'i faith, it's about the concept, about that religion in its essence is one and the same, and that throughout time God has been sending messengers to guide humanity back to God throughout time. The founder of the Baha'i faith we believe to be Baha'u'llah, and we believe not just Baha'u'llah but the Bab and Baha'u'llah, we believe them to be the promised one of all ages.
Do you believe he's a prophet?
I do not believe he's a prophet, I believe he is a Rasul.
He is a what?
I believe that Baha'u'llah, who is the founder of the Baha'i faith,
He's the latest prophet.
I believe him to be not just a prophet, or not a prophet actually, but I believe him to be a Rasul, which in my opinion, because I know what verse you're going to go to straight away, Khatan Nabiyin, Muhammad is not the father of anyone amongst you, he is a messenger of God and the seal of the prophets. We believe to be Baha'u'llah to be a Rasul, and we believe that there's a clear distinction between Rasul and Nabi.
We believe that as well, by the way.
Yes, I believe that, definitely. And I believe that Baha'u'llah
So how would you define Rasul? I think that's what you wanted to know as well, isn't it?
Well, I find this interesting.
What is Rasul, yeah.
So we have these two words, Nabi and Rasul, right? First of all, I think it's quite important to define the meaning of this Khatan Nabiyin. Why did Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him, as Baha'is we revere and we respect and love as well. So he said, I am not the father of anyone amongst you, I'm messenger of God and the seal of the prophets. Right? So as you know in Islam, that Nabi means prophet. So somebody like Aaron, Ezekiel, Joshua, people that guide people back to God. We believe that Rasul has the same functionality as a Nabi, but more importantly, they bring a revelation, but more importantly, a book. We believe throughout time, or even in Islam, in the Quran, it says that God has sent messengers to every nation. And so as Baha'is, we believe that God throughout time has been sending these messengers of God, or shall we say manifestations of God, that basically we do not believe that messengers of God are God. We believe them to be clear reflections of God.
So what's his name? Baha'u'llah?
Baha'u'llah.
So Baha'u'llah, did he come with a book?
Came with the book, yes.
He came with a book. Do you think it's a part of the Quran or it's an addition to the Quran?
I believe it's a completely new revelation altogether. I think the Adamic cycle has finished with the coming of the Baha'u'llah. We believe Baha'u'llah to be Isa, and we believe the Bab to be the Mahdi.
Okay.
And
Who do you believe is the Mahdi?
the Bab.
The Bab.
The Bab and Baha'u'llah.
Who's Bab?
The Bab. So the Bab came in the 1800s in Iran, and he was a Zayd, and so he wore green to represent that he came from the direct lineage of Prophet Muhammad. And through not just Islam, but all religions are waiting for a promised one.
Okay, no worries. So he came with a book.
Yes.
He came with new laws.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Would you say you read? Sorry, what's that book called?
The Akdas, Kitabi Akdas.
Kitabi Akdas.
Yeah.
Okay. And where was that revealed?
It was revealed in Iran in the 1800s.
Akdas, yeah?
The Akdas.
Okay. Would you say you read the Akdas more or the Quran more?
I say I read the Akdas more and more. See, Baha'u'llah wrote 100 volumes. So he brought as Baha'i brought a new revelation. So he's brought not just teachings, but a whole design to unify mankind, as Baha'u'llah says, into one universal cause and one common faith.
Take it.
One universal cause and one common faith. That this is the time and the age where the whole of humanity can unite as one human family.
Sorry, is your name Kaleem or Kareem?
Kaleem.
Kaleem. It's a nice name. My friend used to be called Kaleem as well.
It's because I talk too much and got ADD. So
No, it's good. It's good you told me. Now I can accommodate for that. Okay, so there was a book that was revealed. You believe that book has. So if something is in the Quran and something is in the Akdas, would you take something in the Akdas over the Quran?
I would, because again, I believe that Baha'u'llah is the promised one of all ages. I believe he is the one foretold in all revelations, not just the Abrahamic line, but also within Hinduism and Buddhism as well. The fifth Buddha, the return of Krishna, in all, even the great ones.
Okay, I'm finding this incredibly fascinating, to be honest. So how many times a day do you pray? Like tell me about your worships and stuff like that.
No problem. So there are 3 obligatory prayers. There's
3?
Yeah.
Really?
3.
Oh, when?
So there's a short, there's a medium, and there's a long one. I usually say the short one, but I try to say the long one as possible. We have, same as Islam.
So you've got 3?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just so curious.
No worries.
So there's 3 and you only do 2?
I only do 1.
Oh, you only do 1?
Out of the 3. Yeah.
Just personal reasons or?
You can choose.
No way, really?
Yeah, you can choose. I can say the short one for you if you want to.
So there's 3 prayers and you get to pick whichever one you want to pick?
Yeah, just one we want. But the long one is when the sun goes. The short one you can't say when the sun goes down, but the long one you can say whatever time, and the same with the medium one as well. But I usually, if I'm very, very busy, I usually say the short one. Again, like in Islam, you wash your hands, you wash your face, you praise to God, and you say your obligatory prayer. So there's that.
Do you guys go to the Kaaba for Hajj?
No, we go to Haifa, which the
Let me guess, Iran.
No. North Palestine. Israel.
Really?
Yeah.
Israel?
In Israel. Yeah. North Israel is where the...
What do you think about what's going on?
I believe there's...
With regards to the Palestinians?
Sure. This is a good question. I believe that Baha'u'llah is the promised one of all ages. And the reason why I see the occupation of the Jews in Israel is because they occupy because they believe if they do that, they can call upon the promised one.
No, it doesn't matter why they do it. Do you believe it's good what's going on? Do you think it's bad?
I believe any sort of persecution is bad.
Okay.
I believe whether that's people being persecuted in their faith. The Baha'is are persecuted in Iran quite viciously. Sorry. Same with the Uyghurs, that's wrong. The Rohingyas, any sort of persecution where people are being killed for their belief is totally wrong.
Okay. That was really fascinating, and thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem.
So Kaleem.
Yes.
now that I've done a bit of reconnaissance and I know, so you're saying there's 3 prayers, and from those 3 prayers there's 1 prayer, yeah?
You can choose. Yeah, but it's not just that. As Baha'is, Baha'u'llah has also said that we must read the prayers in the morning and read the writings as well, in the morning and evening. So we read prayers and writings in the morning and evening. You're right.
Brother, is it okay if we go there? Is it okay? We're just going to move there. Yeah, you can just move the cameras. That way you get to lean as well, you know what I'm saying? We're just standing there.
Wales, heading back tonight. So I'm going back to...
God.
Hamza's from Cumbrae, right? I think he's from Wales as well.
Bro, can you just bring the others as well? They're going to get upset with me, yeah. All right, bro, yeah, but that's... Oh, wait. You said Hamza's coming down with you?
No. I've debated with Hamza before. I know I'm from Wales. So I'm traveling back to Wales tonight. So I'm passing through, but I've debated Hamza before. So
nice.
Yeah, that was an interesting experience.
So that's with regards to the prayers. You got 1 prayer, and you get to pick that. Free charity. Projects are brilliant. What I'm trying to pin down is, do you have a yearly obligatory charity that you have to pay that gets spread to other Muslims?
Sure. Yes, we have a fund. One of the laws in the Baha'i faith is huququllah, and we have, which is basically you have to pay like a percentage of your wages.
Is this a must?
It's a must. It's a law.
Hey, what happens if you don't do it?
Well, there's no clergy in the Baha'i faith, and
What do you mean?
Something. Like, okay, so like in Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, there's priests, right? Rabbis.
You said Islam, Christianity, and Judaism.
Yeah.
But initially you claimed that you're part of Islam anyway.
We say that we believe as Baha'is, you know how Christianity came out of Judaism? As Baha'is,
Kaleem, I'm not gonna take offense of what you're saying.
No problem.
As you're seeing, I'm just fascinated. I haven't spoken to a Baha'i, so the thing is, what is a bit like what grinds my gears is when somebody says one thing and then like 10 minutes later, it was different.
Sure. Okay, sorry for that.
Yeah.
I'll just clarify it for you as well. Is that
So do you think that you're part of Islam, or do you think that you're a separate kind of religion?
We believe that we are separate. That the coming of Baha'u'llah has brought a new religion, we don't like saying the word religion because we believe actually that all religion in its essence is one and the same. We believe that they are like chapters in the one same book, and that the only difference between all these religions, even Hinduism, Islam, and Buddhism, and Christianity, is the time and the age in which they come.
Okay, so that's good. You gave me an honest answer, which you believe is a different religion.
Sure.
Okay, excellent. So we've got past that. In terms of obligatory charity, when I discussed that, you said, oh, we don't have a clergy. Just expand on that.
Sure. So we don't have any priests apart from the covenant of Baha'u'llah. And then after Baha'u'llah, there's somebody called Abdul Baha, who's placed at the center of the company. It is a specific lineage. But as Baha'is, there's no figurehead in which we follow. But there's hierarchy of institutions. So
you don't follow anyone, yeah?
We follow something called the Universal House of Justice.
So you don't follow any one, like person?
No, not any one type of people.
Oh, okay.
But we follow an institution of people. We believe in something called the Universal House of Justice. We believe them to have infallibility.
Oh, really? Who are these people?
As an institution, but individually they are just normal.
Oh, okay. So it's like a consultation.
Yes, in one sense.
How many people are there in this?
9 people. 9 people.
Are they alive?
They're alive, yeah, and they are elected through a democratic process in which the national spiritual assemblies around the world come together to the World Centre in Haifa, and they elect the Universal House of Justice, which is the supreme governing body for the Baha'is around the world.
Wow, fascinating.
Yeah.
So you're saying alone, they're fallible.
Yeah, alone.
Bring them in that group,
yeah,
they become infallible.
they become infallible. Yeah.
How does that work?
Infallibility. Do you know? You're from a Sunni background, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna talk about the Shia line, but not gonna talk about it. Yeah. So as Baha'is, we believe that like the messengers of God have infallibility, from God.
We don't believe that when they become messenger, that's when they become infallible.
But let me ask you a question.
Do you believe they're created and they're born, that Allah's created them in a certain way, special?
Yes, 100%. That's the question I was going to ask you. Do you believe that Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him?
But we're talking about, bear in mind, infallibility, yeah?
Sure.
So was it 9 guys or 7 guys? Nine individuals.
Yeah.
Can they be men, female? Or?
Men at the
only
moment.
men, yeah?
Yeah, only men at the moment. This is
at
a
the
little
moment?
bit... no, only men.
You said at the moment.
This is a bit of a controversy because when people look at the Baha'is, they say, we talk about the concept of unity and diversity and stuff. But there is this law, the son of Baha'u'llah said that this will be clear as the noonday sun in the future. This is something, as a Baha'i, I struggle with, because in the Baha'i teachings, it talks about one of the principles of the Baha'i teachings is the equality of men and women. Baha'u'llah says that men and women are like two wings on one bird. But yeah, there are certain laws that I do struggle with, but as a practicing Baha'i, I respect it, so I follow it, So yeah.
When you say you struggle with it, does that mean you disagree with it?
A little bit, but I would say that because I am...
Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you? Good? MashaAllah, you look at daps. Come on. Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you? You good? MashaAllah. Come on. South, all day, every day. Come on. I'm just speaking to... Yeah, MashaAllah. I'll speak to you later. I'm just speaking to the brother, yeah?
So
Walaikum salam, walaikum salam.
This...
Bruv, appreciate it, man. Come on. Come on. Take care,
We love you in
brother.
Allah's sake, yeah?
Inshallah.
Yes, man. So yeah, there are certain laws.
So you disagree with that? Yeah.
I wouldn't say I disagree with it.
You said a little bit.
I would say it's challenging to because, but as somebody who believes in Baha'u'llah, who believes in the teachings of the Baha'i faith, I follow it, and I accept it.
Fair dues. Fair dues. But just to pin this point down, so you're saying that 9 people that are fallible, they make mistakes, they're human beings living in the 21st century.
Yeah.
Like, watching stuff on TV, watching inappropriate things, blah, blah, blah. Then they're part of this group. What is it that makes the infallible fallible? Sorry, fallible, infallible.
Fallible, infallible. Well, we believe that this institution is a complete unique institution that has never been had before in terms of now the aspect of an individual. We're not following an individual anymore, that we're actually following an institution. So in this aspect that this is completely unique in one sense, and that as each person does not have the power to say, follow me, but together they have that infallibility. It's because...
you can come here if you want.
Yeah, sorry, bro.
You might get tired because I know you have to go away as well.
Yeah, no worries. So, in its essence, what I'm trying to say is that we listen to the House of Justice.
I get that. Wicked.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, how does a fallible become infallible? How does that work? For example, if you were to ask me, typically in Islam, things are comprehensible. Majority of the things are comprehensible, especially when it comes to the people that we're following, especially when it comes to creedal matters. There's no discrepancy in creedal matters because, if you believe Jannah, if you don't believe Jahannam, because the consequence is so dire, therefore creedal matters need to be clear. That's why I'm saying, when it comes to a fallible to an infallible, what's the logical way that a person simply by making a covenant becomes infallible? How does that work?
See that through revelation. So as we as Baha'is believe, we believe in Baha'u'llah, and he has brought a revelation, a new revelation, and that we understand what he says in his guidance, in his books, in his writings. As Baha'is we follow to be completely from God. That's when it becomes infallible, through the teachings of the messengers and manifestations of God.
So those 9 people, what makes them infallible is reading the book?
It is through the teachings of Baha'u'llah and through the teachings of the guidance of not just Baha'u'llah but the Bab and Baha'u'llah. Because before Baha'i faith was established, there was Babiism, and the Babis, which was the followers of the Bab.
Babis?
Yeah, the Babiism.
I don't want to offend you,
I'm thinking,
yeah?
Okay.
I'm a
Babi. Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, I'm a beatboxer. I do a lot of stuff like in London and just around doing stuff like that.
Oh, brilliant.
Want some entertainment for your camera? I'll drop some beatbox in a minute. So yeah, man, through revelation, through that infallibility through God, you know, like you understand the Quran. Let me ask you.
Yeah.
You understand the Quran to be infallible, right?
Yes.
So that revelation came through Prophet Muhammad and as a mediator, and then the Quran was made. So you believe that it's infallible?
For all time, pre and post.
Sure. So we believe that also within the teachings of Baha'u'llah as well, exactly the same. So this structure and this institution.
No, but do you though? Because Kaleem, you said yourself, those 9 individuals, they start off as fallible.
Sure.
Then they become infallible.
As an institution, they become infallible.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying as Baha'is. When they get together.
But surely the institution is made up of the individuals, isn't it?
100%. You are
like
correct.
I am made of the organs.
Yeah.
If one of my organs is weak, not working,
the body doesn't work. Exactly right. But this is a teaching from Baha'u'llah. So this is a unique station throughout history.
Kaleem, no worries. We know that's the teaching. We're gonna speak on the level.
Yeah.
Like on the level, if something makes sense, we say it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, you can say, look, it doesn't make sense to me.
Sure. Now,
But
can I ask you a question?
Of course you can.
Do you believe that the Mahdi and Isa will return?
Yes.
How will it return? How will they return? And do you believe that they are going to return in a literal way, in terms of like, you know, like Christians believe that Christ will come through the sky, for example, right? Do you believe in this literal interpretation of the Mahdi and Isa returning, or do you believe that it's a spiritual one? Let me just ask you a question.
We believe it will be a physical return.
Okay, sure.
But in order to even entertain these tertiary topics, first we need to iron out the fundamentals and the creed. That's why I'm so fascinated in your book, your founder, and the institution of 9 people and how it kind of works. Because once we know that, then we move on to, okay, what are the teachings and what comes secondary and tertiary to that. So coming back originally to that point, when I I gave the analogy about the human body, so you have these 9 individuals that come together. Them coming together means that they become infallible. Just make that make sense to me.
So basically, Baha'u'llah has created a structure, has created this unique covenant, and is inviting people all from all backgrounds to come together to build it. There are institutions on a local, on a national, and then that international level. So, and it's a democratic process of electing people onto these institutions. So Baha'u'llah says, for example, in this day and age...
I get that, and that's brilliant.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I'm trying to pin it down to how does a person that's fallible become infallible? A process of election does not change a person's misgivings of the past. You see, for example, yourself. For example, yourself, Kaleem. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to embarrass you on camera and this and that, but generally people have seen pornography, whether it's at school or whatnot. They've lied. Yeah, they've stolen stuff. They've done madness. Now, as a follower of Baha'u'llah, let's just say you get voted in. Yeah, and you're one of those 9 people that get elected. Now suddenly, you part of that shura or that committee, there are 8 other people like yourself. So there's 9 Kaleems there. And suddenly now you have become infallible. Why? Because, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying because of the teachings, because of you being voted, because this is why. This happened last time as well.
It's all good, broski. You get some characters.
It's a mad one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I come down and join in with them, man.
No, but we stood here last time, and then that's what happened last time. It's a mad one.
What does he represent?
God knows, bro. God knows. But so
you're trying to understand about the infallibility.
Yeah, no, so look, there has to be logically, for example, a prophet who's committed sins and doing madness. Yeah, Allah forbid, I'm saying an individual, and then he becomes a prophet, and then he becomes a prophet. People are gonna struggle. Yeah, they're gonna struggle. They're gonna say you used to lie, you used to cheat. That's why the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, even before Islam, he was known as Sadiqul Amin. Yeah, the trustworthy, the truthful. And one of the examples that he gave when he came on the mountain was look, have you known me to tell a lie to the nearest meaning? They said, no, of course not. So there has to be a degree of, preservation. So that's what I'm trying to understand. Now that I can understand. In Islam, if somebody said, oh, your prophet did this in the past, I'll say, yeah, of course that's true, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but you also have to understand the context of the time. I hate it when people say that, they try to equate the time of Christ with the time of Muhammad, may peace be upon them both. You can't do that because they're completely two different times. People at the time of Christ, people believed in the one God. They came from settlements and they had judiciaries and courts, and the time of Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him, didn't have that. So what are you going to do if somebody rapes your daughter? So I can totally understand that. In terms of going back to the infallible part, we understand that messengers and manifestations, we call them manifestations of God. Messengers of God are infallible. All the way to Adam, they are infallible. They have direct, communication through the Most High, and then they reveal to the people and so on. So we understand that. In this day and age, we as Baha'is, we believe Baha'u'llah has created a specific covenant for not just the Baha'is, but for all the peoples of the world.
You know what? Just give me one second.
Go over there.
Sam, should we move over there? Because look, these guys move over there, yeah?
Yeah, cool, man.
Just move everything, please, yeah? The brothers are going to get upset. I keep moving.
Problem is, boys, the baby and many things. So should we just move maybe a little bit over there? Or maybe down there? That might be nice for your picture in terms of...
Yeah? All right.
So this is, remember,
Talk fallacies.
It's going to come down to the So I think I've made my point, isn't it? I think you've understood it as well, that I'm saying that it logically doesn't make sense.
Let me ask you a question though. In Islam today, especially in the Sunni, what is the correct interpretation in terms of which people should follow? Because at the moment, everything is so divided, even within the Muslim communities, not just within Sunni Islam, Shia Islam as well, and so on. The reason why Baha'u'llah has created this structure is so that the Baha'is won't be split off into different sects, right? There's
no sects in Baha'i.
There have been attempts, and they are, but the mainstream...
Kaleem, listen to yourself though.
Sure.
You're saying that Baha'u'llah has come because there are sects in Islam. And then I
haven't said because there's sects in Islam. I believe that Baha'u'llah
That's the point that you were making though, isn't it? You're saying that it's divided, it's splintered, there's groups. So Baha'u'llah has come to unify people, isn't it?
To unify people, but also to understand that prophecies in all religions have been fulfilled with the coming of Baha'u'llah. It's not just for the Muslims, but it's for the Hindus.
But do you see what the issue with the groups thing was? That if the issue with the groups thing is that you've admitted that, okay, Baha'u'llah had to come, and Baha'u'llah has come, and now, like, there's still groups there.
Sure, there's the Baha'i faith.
His job's not done then, isn't it?
It's not done. It's only 200 years old, the faith, the religion. And we believe as Baha'is, we're going through the birth pangs of a new world order. We believe that the world is disintegrating, and you can see that in the world with the amount of violence, persecution, and so on. When in reality, as Baha'is, we see that the only way towards a better world is the realization that the earth is but one country and mankind are citizens. That the essence of all religions are one. When I say essence, I say that the essence of all of it is one and the same. We say the time is different from each other. As Baha'is,
you mentioned essence, which is brilliant, and I want to take a segue from that.
Sure.
When it comes to essence, let's get to the essence of this.
Sure.
What has Baha'u'llah brought us
Sure.
that Islam hasn't.
Interesting. So we have to understand the context of the time of Islam and Christianity and Judaism. We'll focus on Islam. The context of the time of Islam, that a lot of the people at that time would not think like us today, right? So we understand, for example, through science, that the world is round.
You've made a mistake already. You're saying at that time Islam, we believe, is of all times.
I understand that,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's correct. I believe that as well.
Okay.
But do you believe that the mentality of the people at that time is the same time as today?
Mentality of no time is the same. In fact, the mentality when I entered the park is different to the mentality I have now.
Sure, but the mentality,
yeah.
I understand what
Yeah.
you're saying, and you're completely right, but the mentality when you came out from the park, the majority of people believe that the world is round. When you came into the park, it's the same. Believe the mentality that the world is round. What I'm trying to say is that the times of the age of that people, they still thought the earth was flat. They didn't even understand people lived in other countries, let alone their own villages. This is why the concept of progressive revelation, as Baha'is we put forward, we say that religion has to be progressive and that we cannot put our minds back into the past. Baha'u'llah says this. He says, and you can respond to it, he says that the all-knowing physician, he calls them messengers of God, manifestations, physician, the all-knowing physician hath its finger on the pulse of mankind. He perceiveth in his unerring wisdom the remedy, the disease, and prescribeth the remedy. Every age hath its own problem, and every individual his own particular aspiration. The remedy in which the world needeth cannot be the same as that of a subsequent age may require. Be anxiously concerned of the needs of the age you live in, and center your deliberations upon its exigencies and requirements. Meaning that today in this world that we live in is a completely different time to the past. We have the instruments, the technology that you have in front of me and so on, to unite the world as one human family. But the only problem is that materialism and division has seeped into the world and so on. So Baha'u'llah has come to say the earth is but one country and mankind is citizens. He has created a design to unite all the peoples into one universal cause and one common faith. And we say this time is a completely different time to the time of Moses, of Buddha, of Krishna, and may peace be upon him, Prophet Muhammad. So yeah.
So I'm going to ask you again,
Go ahead.
what has Baha'u'llah brought that's different?
So
At the moment, everything you've said
Yeah.
it's included in Islam.
I-
You haven't bought anything new, anything substantial, anything that's like, whoa, that's different.
My
Oh, sorry, an improvement.
an improvement. Okay, so Baha'u'llah has written over 100 volumes of books, each one equal.
So give me a teaching of Baha'u'llah that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and that the Quran does not have. That will change. That will improve my life.
That will improve your life. The concept of the earth is but one country and mankind is citizens. The understanding of a global society and global world.
I don't think you need me to tell you the copious verses and hadith that reflect those exact sentiments.
I agree with you, but it goes back to what I'm trying to say is that a design to unify mankind. So Prophet Muhammad didn't bring that.
He did.
He brought a design. He brought a design to unify the whole world.
The concept of the Ummah is exactly that.
I understand that. But don't you believe that somebody from the Ummah will come and guide people? It talks about in the Quran itself.
We're not talking about guide. We're not talking about
messengers will come.
We're not talking about guiding at the moment. At the moment, you're saying this concept of universality.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a concept that is unique to Islam in the sense that we are an Ummah, number one.
Okay.
Number two, when we're praying Salah, a king, a pauper, a child, a woman in the same building. In fact, the king, the pauper, whoever it is, they're standing shoulder to shoulder. We are going to Hajj together. If that is not something, and again, majority of the Muslims, I would say, correct me if I'm wrong, at least the Sunnis are about 1.5 billion. So when the Muslims start going for Taraweeh prayers, which is for Ramadan prayers, you can see the unity of the Muslims.
Of course.
When the Muslims go for Hajj, people know the Muslims are going for Hajj.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah. When Muslims give zakat, newspapers like the Daily Mail have to say that this religion pays the most.
I understand.
So when it comes to this, Kaleem, the universality principle of the Ummah
Yeah.
is something which is present in Islam and which is something that makes Islam special.
Yeah, I want.
Yeah.
I know, I totally agree.
So that's why I'm saying something that's not mentioned. Like, surely, look, if it's a totally new revelation,
Sure.
you should come with a totally new idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in Islam, giving the concept of zakat, 2.5% obligatory of your
Sure.
annual savings.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
new concept. Yeah. Yes, it may be
That was introduced in the past, though.
2.5% of your
Well,
annual savings obligatory going to the Ummah.
money, but the concept of zakat itself was introduced in the past.
Let me give you an example.
By Umar and so on, and as they spread through conquest, the concept of zakat and charity and things like that was universal. It was practiced within the Ummah as well, though, right?
No, what I'm saying is this was introduced by the Quran and the Sunnah originally from the original texts. What you're talking about is Umar, the Caliph, the second Caliph, peace be upon him, may Allah be pleased with him. He then spread that idea such that people had to start adhering to it if they were
It's not a new
in
idea.
Muslim lands.
It's not a new idea.
Okay, then
Concept.
Kaleem, you need to tell me which other religion,
Sure.
ideology says it's obligatory for you to pay 2.5% of your annual savings, and that will go uniquely to the believing men and the women.
I understand that we have the concept of hukuk the same in the Baha'i faith, but the concept of giving
Hukuk
giving
are
to
rights.
charity. Yeah, I understand.
Hukuks are rights.
Yeah, I
This, Kaleem, the reason why I'm emphasizing on this is because it is unique. I will speak to people of other faiths, it won't get challenged. That's why if you're to challenge it, and I welcome it, but do it like...
No, I understand. Thank you so much, brother, for that. But let me ask you, do you believe that the Muslim world is united right now?
I believe that the Muslim world is united, yes.
You believe it's
yes.
united? So all this, you might go into politics on about this. So all this, like, the Shias and the Sunnis?
Yes, we're united.
You're united?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So when in the Middle East that Sunnis are killing Shias and Shias are killing Sunnis?
Killing doesn't mean that they're doing it just for religion and they're just doing it for creedal reasons.
But some of them believe emphatically that there is a correct interpretation. Like, for example, if in some states, somebody might say, if I say something bad about the companions, they could be killed.
Yes.
And if somebody in another country said there's something bad about the imama, they could be slaughtered.
I've understood what you've said.
Yeah. They are not united, my friends. They're not.
I'm going to tell you, and then you're going to have to take those words back. Because you didn't ask me what I mean by united. That was your mistake. What I mean is creedally. And even when we were having the discussion there, you agreed with me. Creedally, we are united. One God.
Sure.
Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The Quran. This is unity.
That's
now, Kaleem,
that's the same with us as well.
That's why I said you have to take your words back.
United as well.
That's why I would say that. But these other differences, I believe, Kaleem, if we are to speak on a frank basis for long enough, I believe that we will end this discussion with being unified as well. Because what it is sometimes it's the people that are around us, it's what we hear, it's the arguments that we've heard, it's the baggage that we have from community and society. But if we go to first principles and we understand things bare bones, then we have to realize that, you know what, this does make sense.
I get you, but the priests, the imams, for example, let's take the war. Okay, we're going to get political talk about this, but you've got a war happening between two Muslim countries in the Middle East. Like Iran and Saudi Arabia.
Kaleem, tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong.
They're using another Muslim country.
Tell me if I'm wrong. But wars will continue till the Day of Judgment.
Yeah, but that's why I say the Day of Judgment is coming of Baha'i.
Will they continue?
I believe the Day of Judgment is when the latest messenger and manifestation of God arrives and abrogates the laws of the past.
Will he come?
Yes, so as Baha'is, we believe Baha'u'llah has come.
I thought he had come and then he passed away.
He has passed away. Didn't Prophet Muhammad with the physical body pass away as well?
No, we're not talking about the Prophet Muhammad. I'm talking about Baha'u'llah. I genuinely thought he passed away. I'm not taking a dig. I just genuinely believe that because you said the 9 are alive,
Yeah.
I thought maybe Baha'u'llah is alive.
No,
I don't know. I don't know.
He passed away in the 1800s. But yeah, we believe
How did
that
he pass away?
he died on his bed in old age. He was persecuted most of his life. He ended up in.
But he died a
black
natural death?
pits. Natural death through like years of absolute hardships and suffering, being
That's
exiled
every prophet,
of
like you
Iran.
said.
Yeah, every
Yeah.
prophet has gone through. And Baha'u'llah talks about this. He says the ancient beauty hath consented to be bound in chains
Kaleem.
so that mankind may be released from its bondage.
Okay, let's come back to this point. So again, we haven't pinned down something which is completely unique. The concept of zakat is not present in that sense in the other religions.
Sure.
If you look at pilgrimage, the process of pilgrimage is unique to Islam. That's why you have salah, zakat, fasting for 30 days the way Muslims do it. It's
Fast as
unique.
well.
Is
We
it
have a
done?
We have a 19-day fast as well.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Let me ask you a question. Do you
So
believe-
just
okay,
to,
finish.
yeah, because I genuinely want to know what makes, or what you guys have bought that's different and unique,
Completely
unequivocally.
Okay, so the main. First, let me ask you a quick question. Do you believe the messengers and manifestations of God have the ability to abrogate the laws of the past?
What do you mean?
So, for example, Christ and Muhammad abrogated the law of
No.
the Sabbath.
No.
So they don't have. So they actually.
By definition, they're a messenger of God. They do what God tells them to do.
There we go. So exactly as Baha'is, we say exactly the same. God tells them. So we believe that Baha'u'llah has abrogated certain laws of the past.
Okay, that's fine, but
Yeah.
what has he bought that's special? That's
Sure.
what I want to know,
So
Kaleem.
again, this system to bring everybody into unity. The concept as well.
You've got
wait-
something here, by the way.
sorry.
Because we're on camera, I don't want you to be
Yeah, no
upset
worries.
afterwards.
No
Because you know, sometimes I'm filming and I've got
yeah.
something lodged in my hair. I was like, I wish somebody told
It's
me.
all right, bro. As long as I got
Yeah, yeah. No, it's gone.
boogie down my nose. So also Baha'u'llah's talked about, and I know you're going to say, well, in Islam he spoke about this, but specifically
But
in the
Kaleem,
Baha'i
I'm
faith,
only going to say
the
it's there in
equality of men
Islam.
and women has spoke about.
Yeah,
as
I'm
well.
only going to mention
Justice.
something. Like, look, if you say,
The harmony of
Yeah.
science and religion,
Look,
which has never been
look,
told
if
about.
you
That's completely
if
new.
you say in the Baha'i faith we do X,
Sure,
and I say in Islam we do X as well,
sure.
and we don't, it's easy for you to say, Zishan, you don't do that.
Yeah, I get it.
So when you're anticipating that I'm going to say, yeah, but in Islam we do that as well, then don't mention that. Mention something that's unique. Because, you know, here's what we're saying, Kaleem. We believe that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him,
Sure.
was the final
I get you.
Khatam al-Nabiyyin.
Nabiyin,
Yeah.
as we believe
And
to
the
be
Rasul.
the same. We don't believe it to
Yeah,
be Rasul.
but that's what I'm saying though. We believe
Yeah.
that the Prophet Muhammad is Khatam al-Nabiyyin. He's the
100%.
La Nabiyya Ba'di.
Let's
We
talk about
believe
this.
we
Let's talk
believe
about this.
he's the last Rasul,
Yeah.
seal. He's the
I
seal
understand
of the
completely.
prophets.
I understand.
Now,
But not the messengers, because he didn't say the messengers. He said,
let me just make this point, yeah? So when you say that somebody has come as a seal, he's come to complete something, he's come to end it, he's come to conclude it, whatever synonym, whatever linguistical gymnastics we want to take, that means that there is no one that's needed after him.
let me ask you a
He
question.
is, let me just finish the point, yeah? He is the one.
I get you.
Yeah?
Okay.
He's completed the message.
Sure.
Now, to say that no, that message is incomplete, that means there is a deficiency in that message.
Sure.
Now somebody else pops along and says, no, we've bought a better message. Now I want to know what makes that message better.
I
So
understand.
far, I've tried to kind of push you on this. You keep saying unity, unity, unity.
Unity, diversity,
And
system, an actual system.
nothing there.
Writings that talks about the harmony of science and religion, talks about the equality of men and women, which was never
These
said
are
as
all
a
things you're
principle.
talking about Islam.
I know, but
Yeah.
never taught as a principle. In terms of what you said there about khata, because I feel I need to address that as well.
But the thing with this, Kaleem, is we only talk about Khatam
Yeah,
once we can pin down the prerequisites, the aqidah, the belief of the faith.
I understand.
You see, and I want to
Sure.
know, before even entertaining that,
Yeah.
I'm saying that, okay, let's just say we put the other stuff to the side.
Can I ask you a question? Let me ask you a question. At the time of Muhammad, they said, so when Muhammad talked about science to his people, what did they do? They put him down.
No.
They did, when he said that the earth revolves around the sun, they said to him, don't talk about this. This goes against our principles of what we believe in. So their mentality at that time, again, was like children. They still thought the world was flat. They were not...
Yeah, but
they were
that
not
verse is not to those people, there's no evidence to suggest that they interpreted that verse to be that the earth was round.
Yeah, but a lot of them at that time still had a mentality like we don't have today. Would you agree with that?
Kaleem, obviously.
Obviously, there we go. So therefore, just to let you
Kaleem,
know.
I just want to know what
Sure.
you guys have bought that's
So
special.
the harmony of science and religion.
If you
one of them.
were to come to me,
The equality
Kaleem,
of men and women.
Kaleem, if you'd come to me, I would give you one thing after another
Sure.
after another. I wouldn't stop.
Sure.
You'll mention one or two things, and then that's it. You've paused.
The concept of justice and equality and a system that addresses that is a completely new thing. The system in which I told you over there about the different levels of the Baha'i institutions, that there's no priests and clergy, but there's a hierarchy of institutions, completely
That's
new.
just replacing
Completely
one
new at the
form
time.
of clergy with another form of clergy.
The concept of consultation, how you talk to people.
Consultation is something mentioned in the Quran.
I know it is, but Baha'u'llah talks about this.
Kaleem.
Baha'u'llah talks
Give me
this
something
more.
new, mate.
This is completely. That's why I
No,
invite
it's not
you to
new.
learn.
Sorry to interrupt, but are you just fighting over stories?
Not really. But as again,
You're
let
Christian, I take it.
me talk about Baha'u'llah.
He's not, no.
You're
What?
not Christian.
No, I'm Baha'i.
What's a Baha'i?
yeah,
Oh,
okay.
that's the Buddhist kind of a Hinduist.
No. So as Baha'is, we believe in Bab and Baha'u'llah. We believe them to be the promised one of all ages. Originated in Iran. believed in the
Sorry, can we
1800s.
just finish this convo? Because you'll have to go and, I mean...
Sure. Let me just address that point about Baha'u'llah and the seal of the prophets. I think it's quite important. Is that first of all, if we're having a look at the seal of the prophets, because yes, you can say to me, oh, but what's this? What's that? But I think you have to understand who Baha'u'llah is. And for me, Baha'u'llah is that yes, you have that.
Okay.
Let me finish.
No, let me do that point. I'm actually helping you out.
Let's talk about Khatan Nabiyin.
I'm going to help you out there.
Yeah.
You said we need to know who Baha'u'llah is.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to let you talk.
Sure.
Tell me what makes Baha'u'llah special.
Sure.
Go, floor's
Okay.
yours.
All right. So first of all, I want to talk about.
Just
Muhammad-
about him, please, yeah?
Sure,
because I need to pray as well.
I know, brother. Let me finish.
It's the Asr prayer.
Let me make
so
this
I'm going to,
point.
for
This point-
3-4 minutes, if you talk about Baha'u'llah, I will uninterrupted let you speak.
Sure. So in the Quran itself, it talks about that new messengers will come. In Surah 735, it says, O children of Adam...
Not about him coming. Tell me about him.
Let me
him.
just finish this one. There shall come to you messengers rehearsing my signs. And if you fear God and do good work, no harm shall come to you. So it talks about the concept that more messengers will come. So Baha'u'llah himself,
Yes,
we
thank
believe
you.
Baha'u'llah is the latest messenger, not the last. We believe that more messengers in the future will come.
You're not
because-
telling me about him. You're telling me
so,
of him,
sure, so
not about
Baha'u'llah
him.
originated in Iran. He was born into a wealthy family, but he lost all of that, and he lost it when he said, "I am the promised one of all ages." He centered his thoughts and his motives on helping the poor and so on. He was banished from Iran, and he was exiled to Baghdad, to Adrianople, Constantinople, and then to a prison called the Most Great Pit, called the Siyachal, which is in Akka.
Okay,
and
maybe
so
I
that's
was,
who's Baha'u'llah.
maybe I was,
Sure.
I should have given a bit more detail. Biographical data is good, fascinating.
Yeah.
Tell me what makes him special.
What makes Baha'u'llah special is that his writings, that he says, O son of man, wert thou to speed through the immensity of space and traverse the expanse of heaven, yet thou wouldst find no rest save in submission to our command and humbleness before our foes. So these quotations...
So number one, he's a good writer.
I would reckon he's a writer from God. So those writers...
Okay, number two.
Number two. Okay, what makes Baha'u'llah special
Yes.
is that he has brought this system of consultation for the Baha'is to talk with each other, a democratic system that, as you said when you're talking about the Ummah, about all peoples, no matter what creed, race or what class they are, can come together and make decisions together on a local, on a national and international level.
So preach cohesion. Number three.
Number three, the prayers and the writings itself, fasting and things like that. The concept of the earth is but one country, mankind's citizens, unity and diversity, and that talking about that more messengers will come in the future because of the times, of the needs, of the age you live in, constantly fluctuate and differ. So that makes perfect sense. And the concept of progressive revelation is unique in religious history in itself. Because progressive revelation, we're saying that revelation needs to progress with the times. Nobody in religious history, no messenger of God has spoken about progressive revelation. Muhammad, may peace be upon him, said, I have sent messengers to every nation. So he has talked a little bit about progressive revelation. But this concept that revelation never finishes is completely unique in all of religion. So that's my...
Do you see, when you talked about him, I didn't interrupt. And I'm giving you more time.
Sure.
Is there any other special, unique things about Baha'u'llah
Sure.
that, because you're saying he's the last, he's the cream,
No, we're not saying he's the last.
but he's the special one?
We're saying he's the messenger of God for today because he's-
Also, you believe there'll be more coming?
yeah, because the times of the needs of the age that we live in are going to be constantly different. You thinking in 1,000, 2,000 years' time, we might have the technology to connect planets intergalactically.
Yeah.
Right? We
Okay.
are moving in that direction.
I've
So do
understood
you
your point.
So do you think that
There,
you know,
I think I misunderstood
Sure.
because you didn't get to the point. Now,
sure.
I feel you've got to the point, which is you're saying that there's going to be more prophets, there's going to be
not
more
prophets, not prophets. Muhammad is the seal of the prophets.
messengers. There's going to be more messengers.
There's a difference.
Look, for us,
Would you allow
Rasul,
me to explain the difference from a Baha'i perspective between
You did.
Rasul and
You
Nabi?
did. We don't-
I didn't completely, my friend.
Okay.
Let me just explain that we say that there's Rasul and Nabi. This is my definition of it. Okay, this is how I perceive it. Okay, bear with me. That you got a DVD player and you have an Xbox, right? You will never. So the DVD player has the functionality to play DVDs. The Xbox has the functionality to play DVDs, but also Xbox games. You will never say that an Xbox is a DVD player, but has the same functionality. This is exactly what we would say between Nabi and Rasul, that the Rasul has the same functionality as the Nabi, but it is not a Nabi because they are two different things. And that's from a Baha'i perspective, that how we see Rasul and Nabi, and why we see more Rasul coming in the future. As it says in the Quran,
Okay.
there shall more messengers come in the